I have some bad news for you. No matter how good of a teacher you are, your students probably hate studying. It's usually boring, it's tedious, and sometimes even just having to think about where to start can make a student's head hurt. You and I intuitively know this because we were once students ourselves, and that's probably why you clicked on this video. You heard that Brainscape has been helping millions of students stay more engaged, develop better study habits, and actually retain what they learn. And you want to bring this easy, free web and mobile technology to your classroom. Well, you've come to the right place. I'm Andrew with Brainscape, an adaptive web and mobile platform that personalizes the studying experience for each student using the magic of smart flashcards with spaced repetition. Students can use Brainscape to find, make, and share flashcards for any subject on the planet, from preschool through medical school, and then study those flashcards using a spaced repetition system that we've been fine-tuning for over a decade to repeat concepts in just the right interval of time for each student's individual competencies and pace of personalized learning. This results in students performing significantly better on the exams with the same amount of fixed time studying. You might have already heard about Brainscape from one of our millions of happy learners, and you might be wondering, how can I get the most out of Brainscape with my students? So today I'm going to give you some ideas for using Brainscape, starting with the simplest way to get started, which is just to tell your students to go look for flashcards for your subject on the Brainscape marketplace. For everything from the sciences to social studies, foreign language, business, medicine, nursing, law, there's a good chance that any student or educator has already made good flashcards that you and your students can just copy from the Brainscape marketplace and then study on your own. And even if your students can't find flashcards that are exactly aligned to your curriculum, they can at least use the cards they find from other students as inspiration that they can repurpose and turn into better flashcards of their own. Which leads to my second tip, which is to just have your students independently make their own flashcards for whatever you're covering in class. Now, this is basically just another form of you recommending Brainscape as a free tool for your students, and it really doesn't take any work on your part. You're just helping your students better internalize the material by making their own flashcards and then using them to study using Brainscape's spaced repetition process. Now, if you want this to be more than a recommendation and make it for a grade, you can, peer over their shoulder, just have them show you their phone or computer to verify that they have studied and made the flashcards that you've assigned. Now, of course, this really doesn't make the most of the real collaborative benefits of Brainscape, where you can actually track students' study progress in a single dashboard of your own. And that's to have the students work together on a shared collection of flashcards. One leaderboard, one set of collaborative cards. Now, this does take a little bit more curation on your part, but it is very worthwhile in terms of the learning benefits. You just start by naming your class and then creating an outline of all the empty decks, and then your students can actually start adding the actual flashcards. You might even, if you want, you can create some sample flashcards in each deck to get the students started. So that way, when you're ready, you could just invite students to your class by sending them an easy link, after which point you can start assigning duties to either one student or even pairs. For example, John and Mary, you're in charge of making flashcards for chapter 1. Jamal and Jenny, you make flashcards for chapter 2, etc. Not only does this collaboration help students learn the material more deeply by debating what makes good flashcards, but by the end of the semester, you'll then have a complete student-generated study guide that's broken into the convenient flashcards that your students can easily study from any device where Brainscape is available. The best part of this is that you can track your own students' study habits down to how often they study and how comfortable each student is with each deck, so that you could assign study participation grades and even adjust your instruction and remediation based on students' weaknesses. Whatever level your students are, these activities will help them build strong study habits that will last them a lifetime, where they'll be coming back years later to thank you for introducing them to this way of studying. Now, of course, sometimes your class might be so big that it's not practical to coordinate hundreds of students collaborating to make the flashcards. So in those cases, that actually might be worth the investment for you to make all the flashcards yourself, or maybe with the help of a teacher's assistant if you have one, so that you'll have a nice, complete, and reusable set of study materials that you can share with not just the hundreds of students you have right now, but even for future students or even in schools around the world. In fact, if your curriculum is relatively standardized or for a big market like a professional certification, you can even consider selling access to your flashcards by partnering with Brainscape as a reseller or a verified author. It's a lot of creative ways that we can work together with smart educators, so feel free to contact us if you want to propose something, and we'll be excited to talk to you. The bottom line is that Brainscape is the most flexible, convenient, and effective way to engage students in making and sharing digital flashcards for just about any subject. So whether you're teaching middle school or nursing school or just tutoring students for their real estate licenses, I have no doubt that Brainscape will provide you and your learners the tools and the confidence that you need to rise to your challenge.